Good morning, guys. Is my screen is visible for everyone? Okay, in the last session, I had done the discussion with what is Java, and then the next question, I had done the discussion with Java features. Okay,
Okay.
Java features, and next we done the discussion with third one. We done the discussion with the Java history. Okay, and then after that we done the discussion with how the Java programming language builder, how the Java programming language builder, how Java programming language builder, how Java programming language builder. Okay, and next thing is Java program execution flow. Java program execution flow. Execution flow. Okay, next thing is we done the discussion with what does translators, Java translators. Okay, next we done the discussion with in the translators, how to download the JDK,
Hello.
how to download JDK software. Okay,
Sir, your screen isn't visible. Hello.
yeah. Okay, so how JDK software download Java translators, and then in the translators itself we done the discussion with the compiler, and then we done the discussion with the interpreter. Okay, interpreter, and then the next thing is uh, JVM architecture. 8 point is the JVM architecture. So these are the topics we had done in the last session, right? Okay, today in the chapter, this all are comes under the chapter 1. So today we'll discuss variables and data types. The topic is variables and data types. Okay, first we will discuss about the variable. We'll discuss about the variable. So if anyone the basic question they will ask, what is variable? What is the purpose of variable? Basically, okay, which is used to store the data. Okay, the purpose of variable is which is used to store the data. Store the data. That is the first point we can remember. So how the data will be stored? For example, if I want to store the some student details or anything, so how can I store? So I will show you the by using the MS Paint also. The main purpose of variables is which is used to store the data, and the second point is we need to specify. Second point is we need to specify type of variable. We need to specify type of variable. Okay. Second point is we need to specify type of variable to store the data. Type of variable to store the data. Okay. And third point is if you want. Hmm? Are you guys clear with my point? First point is the purpose of the variables. Second point is we need to specify the type of variable. We need to specify type of variable. We need to specify type of variable to store the data. And then the next point is we need to specify the type of data. We need to specify the type of data. Type of data. For that purpose, we will use data types. For that purpose, we will use data types. Okay, are you guys clear with my point? For that purpose, we will use data types. So here the thing is data types. Okay, I will use the MS Paint. I simply take the MS Paint. Now we can assume I want to store some student details. I want to store some student details. How can I store? Directly can I write like this? Like I would say Like the student recently passed the exams and he got the score like this. For example, 90, some 91, 92, 93, okay, 94, like this. So the same values I can write the programmatically. How can I write? These are the values, right? These are the values. Then how can I store these values? How can I write the programmatically? So that's where they has introduced the concept that is the variables. The variables main purpose is to store the data. To store the data. How the data will be stored? So for example, we will take some container. Inside the container, we will keep the data. Inside the container, we will keep the data. Like this is the 90, and then this container name we will mention some name. Like if it is the data, right, then I am mentioning subject one. This subject one is the reference variable name, and this is the container name, and this is the value, and we will mention the container data type. Okay, we will mention the container data type. The data type is the integer. Okay, that I will tell you as of now what you guys will do, which is used to store the data. Purpose of variables is which is used to store the data. Second point is we need to specify the type of variable to store the data. And third point is we need to specify type of data we will use data types. And where in the variables it is divided into two parts. One is the variable declaration and second one is the variable initialization. Variable declaration and variable initialization. Variable initialization or declaration meaning we can declare the variable. Like for example, I want to store the data, some 90 data I want to store. So we can mention some 90 and then this data if I store in some reference variable name. Some reference variable name is the subject one. Any reference variable contain data type. Okay, here I am mentioning the data type is the inter. Okay, inter. So variable declaration meaning like this. You can declare the variable. You can declare the container name. Okay, next thing is we have the variable initialization. Variable initialization. Variable initializing meaning we are assigning some value to the container. Int sub equal to sub one equal to initialization meaning no need to mention data type. You can mention some 90 value, right? These are the two lines. These two statements you can write in single line also. You can write in single line also. That is inter sub 1 equal to inter sub 1 equal to some 90. Okay. Variable initialization and declaration you can write in single line also. We can write in single line also. We can write in single line also. As of now is clear, guys. Variables are the containers which is used to store the data. Okay, we need to specify the type of variable to store the data. And the third point is we need to specify the type of data. For that purpose, we will use the data types. So in the variable, it is containing two parts. One is the variable declaration. Second part is the variable initialization. Okay. So in variable declaration meaning you can declare the with the we can declare the variable. In case of initialization, we can assign with some value. Okay. And then next thing is we'll discuss about the data types. Data types. Okay, data types meaning which is used to specify the type of data, which is used to specify specify the data type of data we want to store in the variable. We want to store in the variable. Are you guys clear with my point? Okay, in the data type, it is categorized into two parts. Data type is divided into two parts. Data types is divided into two parts. Two parts. Okay. One is primitive data types. One is primitive data types, and the second one is non-primitive data types. And non-primitive data types. Okay. So we'll discuss about the primitive data types. First, we will discuss about the primitive data types. Okay, primitive data types are the first thing is mutable. The first point is about the primitive data types is these two are mutable. Mutable meaning we cannot change the values. We cannot change the values. We cannot change the values. Okay, meaning these primitive data types are the fixed. We cannot change the values. We cannot change the values, and it can contain only one value. It can contain it can contain only one value. It can contain only one value. Primitive data types are the fixed. It can contain only one value. It can contain only one value. Okay, in the primitive data types, which is categorized into four groups, which is divided into four groups, which is divided into four groups, four groups basically. What are the four groups? What are the four groups? First one is the integer. Okay, second one is the decimal, and the third one is the char, and fifth one is the boolean. Okay, under the integer category again, which is divided into four: byte, short, int, and long. Int and long. Are you guys clear with my point? Long. This is the these four are comes under the category of integer. Then why there are four these all data types main purpose is to store the integer values. Then what is the difference where we have the four, right? What is the difference? Only the difference is the size. Only the difference of the four data types is the size. Byte, short, int, long. Difference is the only size. You can assume normal will you purchase water bottle, like so, which is similar to half liter water bottle. You can remember with some psychological example. This is similar to some half liter water bottle, meaning it can store only it can have the size is small. Okay, it can store the values also small. Okay, and second thing is which is similar to like 1 liter, 1.5 liter, 2 liter. Only based on their capacity, they has categorized into four groups. Remaining the main purpose, everything is the same. Only the difference is the size. Based on the size, they has categorized into four parts, four groups again. Okay, byte, short, int, long. The four are the four based on their size. They has divided into four: byte, short, int, long. Okay, into the and then here they will ask one more the regular question also. What is the default values? What is the default values? Default value for the byte, for the short, for the int, for the long. So all the integer group data types will have the default values is 0. Default values meaning if you won't initialize any variables with your custom values, then the JVM will provide the default values. JVM will provide default values. So default values also the regular question they will ask. Are you guys clear with my point? Default values for the integers is the 0. Okay, if they will ask like what is the default value for the byte, the default value for the byte is the 0. And what is the default value for the short? The default value for the short is the 0. And what is the default value for the int? The default value for the int is also 0. Next, what is the default value for the long? The default value for the long is also 0. This is clear. Next, under the decimal category, we have the two groups. One is the float, and the second one is the double. Okay. Generally, float which is extend with end with f, like some example 55.f. Okay, so it will be like this. And then next thing is double meaning decimal, which is decimal meaning like after the dot we can mention some decimal numbers. uh, some, if I mention like this, double meaning we'll mention the decimal values. We'll mention the decimal values. Okay, and here also they will ask the regular question: what is the default value for the float and what is the default value for the I would say double. What is the default value for float? Float default value is 0.0f. This is the default value. And what is the default value for the double? The double default value also 0.0 t. Okay, 0.0. Okay, 0.0 is the default value for the decimal. If you see here, here also all the data types is having the default values is 0, and in case of decimal also the default value is the 0 only. 0 only. Next, where we have the char is the one loop, and where we will have the char data types, which is used to store the characters. The main purpose of char data type is which is used to store the characters. Store the characters. Okay, the characters are like, for example, whenever like for example char some name equal to, you manually can declare with single quotation. Yes, and then like this, and then whenever you are declaring the char data type, that is also second point. Okay, whenever you are declaring the char data type, you manually you manually use single quotations. Single quotation. Okay, you manually you can use the single quotation. Next thing is it can able to store it can able to store only single characters. It can able to store only single characters. Are you guys clear with my point? It can able to store only single character only. Single characters. Single characters. Okay. Are you guys clear with my point? Next, we'll go to the boolean. Boolean meaning it will tell either true or false. True or false. Here also they will ask the question is what is the default value for the boolean? What is the default value for the boolean? Okay, the default value for the boolean is false. Okay, the default value for the boolean is false. Are you guys clear with my point? These categories under the we are discussing about the primitive data types. The purpose of primitive data types are the mutable. Mutable meaning we cannot change the values, and then it contain only one value, and which is divided into four groups. One is the integer, second one is the decimal, third one is the char, and fourth one is the boolean. Or the regular, very frequent question is what is the default values for the byte, short, int, long? All the default values is the zero only. And what is the default value for the decimals? And the default value for the float and double is the for the float 0.08, for the double 0.0. Okay, 0.0. And what is the default value for the char is the none. Okay, what is the default value for what is the default value for char is null. So these are the points you should remember in case of primitive data types. In case of primitive data types, are you guys clear with my point? Okay, now I will go to the PDF and then I will show you the same points. You can come here. This is the first chapter, right? The last session we done with the first chapter, where we done the discussion with the introduction, features, installation, Java program execution flow, Java program elements, Java program development, compilation, execution, translator, and JV market. These are all the topics we had done in the last session. Okay, so today we'll discuss about variables and data types. If I go scroll down, this is the chapter 2. In the chapter 2, we will discuss about the variables or data types, identifiers, rules, reservoirs, Java coding standards, Java commits, reading the data from the keyboard. Today we are discussing about the variables. Okay, we are not discussing types of variables. We are discussing about the only variables. Okay, variables main purpose is. Can you please read all these first line? Variables are used to store the data during the program execution. Okay, second line, we need to specify a type of variable to store the data. Okay, what is the third line? To specify the data, we will use data type. And next line, to declare the variable in Java, we can use following the syntax. This is the syntax for the variable. The syntax is also we can remember. So for variable syntax, we can mention with syntax for the variables. For data type, okay, and then next thing is variable name, okay, and then you can declare. This is the variable declaration. I am commenting this one. This is called variable declaration. Declaration. Are you guys clear with my point? This is variable declaration. Next thing is we are discussing about. Can you please read this first line? వినిపించలేదా? Data types. Data types are used to specify the type of data. Okay. So data types is divided into two categories. One is the primitive, second one is the non-primitive. Another primitive
Okay.
category, again we have the number type, the decimal type, character type, boolean type. Okay. What I'm saying is based on their size, they has categorized into four groups: byte, short, int, long.
And now,
If I scroll down and then we'll go with one by one group. Okay. So primitive data types, which is having, if you see char, boolean, byte, short, int, long, float. Okay, we'll go with this group. This group, integer is the one group, right? Integer group includes byte, short, int, long. So why only they has categorized four? So based on which size, based on the size, they has categorized to four. If you see the size for the byte is 8 bits. 8 bits meaning 1 byte. 8 bits. Okay, meaning the range from the minus 128 to 127. Okay, if you take apart from this number, like if you take the 135, then the compiler immediately it will throw the error. Compiler it will throw the error. Okay, the range whenever you are declaring that whenever you want to use the data type as the byte, you should take the value in between minus 128 to 127 only. Okay, apart from that, if you take anything, then compiler immediately will throw the error. Okay, next thing is the short. Okay, short meaning 2 bytes, meaning 16 bits. The range is between 32K to plus 32K. The default value is the 0. Okay, this is the example. And then next thing is integer. Integer is having the 4 bytes. Okay, 4 bytes. 4 bytes meaning the size is 32 bits. 8, 16, 32, 64. If you see, observe here, 8, 8 to 16, 8, 8, 16, 32, and then 64. 8 double 16, 16 double 32, 32 double 64. Okay. Now, int, what I'm saying is, int capacity, if you see, the range is between around is, I would say, 367, meaning 214 crores. This is the range in between, minus 214 crore, and this one is 214 crore. So, mostly we will use integer only. Why? Because, so apart from this number, we won't use any number. Some accounts numbers in that case, we will use the long. Account numbers in that case we will use the long. So in the programs we will use either long int, either long. So these for understanding purpose we are learning byte and short. Byte and short. Are you guys clear with my point? So generally today how I give the assignment is, so write the to print the Java literals. Java letters meaning these all are comes under Java letters: char, boolean, byte, short, int, long, float, and double. So like simply how what you will do now, you can take your file. So coming 15 days we will use the notepad only. You can come here. Here you can take all data types. For example, first one is the byte, right? Byte, you can take some name or anything. Byte name, you can take some value, some 20. Okay, if I take 35, then what will happen? If I take 135, then what will happen? It will throw the error. Why? Because the range is between 127 to 120, 127. Okay. Now my what I will do here, I will take some 50. This is valid or invalid? This is valid. Next thing is similar to short. Short here I will take S equal to, here I will take the B. Here I will take the sum S. Here the range is 32,000 to 32,000. So here I will take some thousand. So this is valid or invalid? Valid only. Next. Third one is int, right? Int basically, which is 214 pro, right? So here I am taking some random number, that is the int I equal to some 10,000. Okay. Similar to we're done with it. Last one is the log. Log here I can take some big number, some 1 lakh. Okay, 1 lakh. These are the four comes under the integer category, right? Now, if I want to print these three, here I will mention integer group. Integer group. Okay, here if I want to print, how can I print? System.out.println println b. Here I will pass some concatenation value for the b. I am doing the concatenation. This is the I am doing the concatenation. I am doing the concatenation. Are you guys clear with my point? So similarly, I can do remaining four variables also. I'm Control C, and then I'm pasting here, and then I will copy from these two lines, and then total we have four, right? So this is for short value for the short. Here I will mention S. Okay, here I will mention S. Then the next is we have where we have the int I, and then here I will mention I, and where we have the L, here I can mention L, right? Okay. Huh? Huh? This is clear. Okay, system.out.println, and then now I am saving this one, and then how could I compile? Wherever the file is available, simply you can go there, and then there you can open the command prompt, and then now I need to check the syntax. How can I check? Which command should I use here? Java C file name. Java C file name dot Java. So if you see the compilation has done or not done, compilation is done. And then we need to interpret. We need to interpret our Java file. Java demo. Why don't I'm not mixing dot class? Why? Because JVM mother language is the dot class function. So again, no need to tell dot class files. Okay, it will default. It will consider as the dot class files only. Okay, Java C. Now, if you see, you are getting the values around P 50 S 1000 I 10,000. For the value is 1 lakh. Okay, which is with respect to integer group. Okay, where we have the double group also, right? Where we have the double group, decimal group. Where we have the decimal group, right? Decimal. Okay. Okay, in the decimal group, we'll discuss one by one. Okay, if you come to the decimal group, uh, so under the decimal group, we have the two. One is the float and second one is the double. So float data type is the 32, size is the 32 bits, double size is the 64 bits. Double size is the 64 bits. And default values is the 0.0f, and here the default value is the 0.0d. Now if you guys observe, here I am passing the values. So instead of passing the values, I am declaring the values. Simply I am declaring the values. Then I'm not initialize any values with the specific variables. Okay, now in that case, you can observe the default values. I'm saving this file. Where the file is available, you can simply go there and then you can use the above the same commands. And then if you see here, the variables be not be initialized. Okay, why? Because if you see here, this is the main method, right? So inside the main method, if you want to take the any variables, we mandatorily before using the variables, we mandatorily have to initialize. But coming classes, we have the types of variables. Okay, instance variables, and then static variables, and then local variables. Okay, there we will get the clarity of default values. Default values. Are you guys clear with my point? So this is the method, right? So if you take any values inside the method, before calling the methods, you have to initialize the variables. You have to initialize the variables. So the default values will get the clarity on types of variables. So at the time we will discuss in deeply. And then now I'm mentioning with this is the some values. Now we are discussing about the decimal group. In the decimal group, the data type is the float, f equal to, I am making some 55.55, declaring with f. Okay, next thing is we have the double, right? Double d equal to some 55,500 plus sub 0. I'm declaring like this. And then if I want to fill those two, simply what should I do? I'm copying these two statements and then I will paste here. Here I can mention with f. Here also I can mention with f, and here also I can mention with d, and here also I am mentioning with d. Okay, with respect to char also will write with respect to char. Okay, with respect to char, I can mention with char c equal to. You can manually can mention with substring, and then you can take the c here, and then here you can mention with the c. Are you guys clear with my point? This is with respect to this one char, and where we have the with respect to boolean, right? So boolean, with respect to boolean, like it will tell either true or false. It will tell either true or false. And it will tell either true or false. For example, here what I am doing is, uh, now we'll try to understand. Till now I'm saving this file, and the way the file is available, you can simply go there, and then you can compile the file, and then you can see the file has successfully compiled, and then you can run the file. Now if you see, all the data is coming or not. This is the float, this is the double, and this is the char. This is the char. This is the char. Okay. Okay, so after this is clear. After this, we have the non-primitive data types also. Non-primitive data types. What is the purpose of non-primitive data types? Generally, these are immutable. These are immutable. The first point is these are immutable. Immutable meaning you can change the values according to the requirement. You can change the values according to the requirement. According to the requirement. Okay. Okay. Generally, what I'm saying here it is. These are the immutable. And then what is the best example for the non-primitive data types are the example for the non-primitive data types are the first one is the class, second one is the arrays, and third one is the strings, and fourth one is the collection. These are the examples for the non-primitive data types. Why I am saying this is the immutable meaning? For example, uh, you want to write the student has written the exam recently. He got the score in the subject 5. One subject he got score in the 90, and in one subject he got the score in 91. One subject he got the score in 92. One subject he got the score in 93, and then one subject he got the score in 94. So this is the, you can assume like this. So how will you, if you want to write the programmatically, generally how will you write with the help of variable and primitive data type. In that case, we can write like this. For example, int is the data type, subject one equal to, we can write like this 90, and then the same thing subject one. I'm copying this line. I'm copying this line, and then I'm pasting here, and then the two statements I will copy, and then two statements I will paste. Okay, now I'm 91 and 92 and 93, right? 93. So this is all about one student information. Okay, for storing one student information, 1 into 6, totally student will have the 6 subjects, right? 1 into 6, total 6, right? Uh, Meaning if I want to store the one student information, I need to take 6 variables. I need to take the 6 variables, right? This is the approach with respect to variables. Approach with respect to, I will mention clearly, approach approach with respect to variables and primitive data types. Variables and primitive data types. Okay, the same approach I am following here. You can assume in my you can assume we have the 50 student. If you want to store the 50 student details, then we can write the 50 into 6. Total I need to take 300 variables. 300 variables. Okay, in case of 50, I have the student is 1 lakh students. 1 lakh students. If I store the 1 lakh student details, then how can I store 1 lakh into 6? Total we will get the 6 lakh variables, right? So if I go with this approach, then our memory will be wasted. Why? Because these creation of these variables, like what will happen? Our memory will be wasted, and this is the very time taken approach. Why? Because for the 50 people also we need to create the 300 variables. For the 1 lakh people, we need to create the 600 variables. So this is the very taken process and very lengthy process, and memory also will be wasted. Okay, due to this issue, they has introduced non-primitive data types. They has they have introduced non-primitive data types. Meaning, for example, if I want to store the student details, if I mention like this, sum equal to, can I store like this 90 comma 90 1 comma? Can I store like this? No. Why? Because primitive data types are the these two lines I will write inside here about the primitive data types. Here I will take the primitive data types. Primitive data types. Okay. Are you guys clear with my point? Which is with respect to primitive data types. Primitive data types are the mutable, meaning only it can hold only one value. This is the mutable. Are you guys clear with my point? What I'm saying? It can, if I write like this is the valid or invalid. Hmm? If I write like, can I write like this? Huh? With respect to primitive data types, can I write like this? No. This is invalid.
No.
Why? Because it can hold only
Only one.
one value. For
Yeah.
example, if I write like this, int sub equal to, if I write like this is valid. Yes, it is absolutely valid. Why? Because this is the mutable and it can hold only one value. Okay, if you go with this approach, you can able to store only one value. And then if you want to store the 1 lakh people data, then we need to create compulsory 6 lakhs variables for storing the 6 lakh values. Okay, this is the very lengthy process and it will take memory also. So that's why this way is not at all recommended. So how to overcome that issue? That's why they has introduced the non-primitive data types. In the non-primitive data types, you can store the multiple values at a time. You can store the multiple values at a time. So these are the the types. Class is the one non-primitive data type, and arrays is the one non-primitive data type. String is the one non-primitive data type, and whereas collection is the one non-primitive data type. With the help of those non-primitive data types, you can store the number of values. You can store the number of values. So for example, I will show you. This is the lengthy process for creating the multiple values for storing the multiple variables. That is the lengthy process. Memory also will be wasted. So how to overcome that issue? So that's why they has released the arrays concept. For example, if you want to store the values, you can directly store like this. Int, you can mention with array, okay, equal to, directly you can write like this 90 comma sub 91 and then 92. So like this you can store the multiple values 93, 94, comma 95, comma 96. Okay, you can tell me this approach is the best one, this one is the best one, which one is the better one?
Second one.
This approach is the best one, or this approach is the best one? Which approach is the best one? This is with respect to
Single value.
primitive data types. This is with respect to non-primitive data. So in your case, which is the best approach?
Non-primitive.
Ah, always non-primitive is the recommended approach. Okay, with the help of primitive data types, you can store only one value at a time. This is the not at all recommended. If you want to store the multiple values, if you go with this approach, the memory will be wasted and the time
But only
also
one
taken.
value will be stored.
Compared to that one, we will use the non-primitive data. Okay, are you guys clear with how they has introduced the non-primitive data types, right? So in the non-primitive data types, where
Yeah.
we have the classifications are like a class is the one data type, non-primitive data type. Arrays is the non-primitive data type. This non-primitive data type is also called as a reference data types. Referenced data types, also called as user defined data types. User defined data types. These are the multiple names which is having for the non-primitive names. User defined data types, reference data types. These are the multiple names which is having for the non-primitive data types. Are you guys clear with my point? So some cases they will ask like, could you please explain about the reference data types? In some cases they will ask like, could you please explain about the user defined data types? So these are the parallel names which is having for the non-primitive data types. Okay, these are the parallel names. Are you guys clear with my points? Okay, so with help of with respect to primitive data type, the tissue that has introduced the non-primitive data types. In the non-primitive data types, this is the classification: class, arrays, string, and collection. Okay, so this is the recommended way. You can store the values, all the student values in one difference variable. So If you go with this approach, your time will be, uh, you can manage your timings and our memory also you can manage. Okay, this is the recommended approach. This is the recommended approach. So this is all about the data types basically. If I go with and then I will show you through the data types example. So today, how could I give the exam assignment is write a Java program to print the Java letters. So in that case, we can use the all the groups and then you can write the program and then you can print the. So you should use Notepad only. You should compile through the command prompt only. You can run and then you can display the result. Data types, two categories, primitive and reference data types. Okay, some books it might be non-primitive data types, some books might be user-defined data types. So you can call any names. Okay, arrays, string, class. We have the collection also. Collection is also which is comes under the category of reference data. Reference data. So this is all about data types. Brief about data types. Okay, we had done the discussion with variables and data types. Now today what you guys will do, the assignment is write a Java program by using all the literals. You can take short, you can use the byte, you can use the, you should use short, you should use int, you should use log, you should use char, you should use boolean, you should use char. All that literals you can use, write the program, you can compile the program and you can execute the program. This is your assignment. Okay. So next session will continue in the next tomorrow session. This as of now, this is your assignment. Everybody, we can go with. Also, we can write. We can maintain two notes. One is the class notes. While running the class, you can write. You can maintain the class notes. Second one is your personal notes. Uh, any if you are learning any technology, not only Java, if you are learning any technologies, if you are a student, if you are anything, while learning time we need to follow these two steps. While listening the class, we need to write parallelly class notes. After the class is completed, you can go to your home or in, PG. You can take one personal notes. Based on this class notes, you can prepare your personal notes. Okay, this is the thing. Any technology, in your college or anything, while studying anything, this is the standards you need to follow. Okay, then only we can get the clarity on the subject. Okay, these are the things you need to follow. And if you have while doing the task, if you stuck anywhere, you can take the screenshot of it and you can ping me. I can help you in that case. Okay.